Hello and thanks for joining us on this edition of Green and Gold Gridiron. I'm your host, Brian Groff, as always alongside Keith Roding from PackerReport.com. We have lots of notes to get to. Packers trying to bounce back after their first loss this season. Wow, that was a rough one to watch.
That was horrible.
It was horrible.
It was horrible. We all should have turned to the World Series. It was 77 yards passing. That was, I think maybe Peyton Manning got a little tired of reading his obituary over and over and over again. He came out, he showed us, in fact, he can be Peyton Manning for an entire game. He stepped into his passes, he threw hard, he threw deep. That might be not just the best defense I've seen this year, but really just from start to finish, one of the best defensive performances. I mean, to play their base defense and just lock down the Packers' three wide receivers for the entire game, guys were not open. That was, you got to tip your hat. That was a phenomenal defensive performance.
Jenny Ritchie joins us in just a bit, as well as our special guest this week. It is a Packers defensive lineman, Mike Pennel, so we're looking forward to that. Now, going back to this game, the Packers look so flat coming out of the bye. If you look at their offensive personnel, the only real changeup they had in that game was Starks and Lacey. Everyone else was pretty much the same. So do you look at this as they came out and they couldn't perform because of the personnel they had, or was it part of the game plan?
It is disappointing because it came after a bye, and clearly the Broncos made much better use of their bye. I'll tell you one thing they saw on film was that Casey Hayward couldn't cover Demaryius Thomas if he threw a blanket over him. It just simply wasn't happening. That play was there all night long. Once Sam Shields went out, that was a real problem. I think Sam Shields could have had better luck with Thomas. I think Demarius Randall had better luck with Thomas, but that was really rough to see. They couldn't stop the crossing routes. It was a bad night for the linebackers, for the inside linebackers. And again, Aaron Rodgers, you got to step up. You got to be bold. If you're an MVP, you have to throw guys open. You have to make a play despite the coverage, and that didn't happen.
Packers normally good under Mike McCarthy coming out of the bye, 8-1 prior to that game. Now, your keys last week, I looked at that. We're going to call this going sideways a little bit.
Maybe.
Your two keys, and they had to do with Peyton Manning.
They did.
One was making him a Peyton Pinata.
The Peyton Pinata.
And
they didn't touch him all night.
They didn't touch him. They didn't knock
so
him down.
So no candy came out.
And then the other part was to pick off Peyton Manning.
Pick off all those wobbly passes that were going to come our way. Well,
those were the keys. That's
my
what
game
they
plan was
done.
Clearly the Packers' game plan as well, and we saw how that worked out. So
Packers also traditionally do not do well at Denver. They didn't. They were 1-6 at the old Mile High, and they kept that alive as well. So you look at some of the numbers, and what does that have to do with this year's team? I don't know. But the fact is, this team has their first loss, and now they have to play another unbeaten team again this weekend.
They do, and they got to beat Carolina. I mean, as much as you can have a must-win game in November, they can't fall 2 games behind another NFC team and lose that tiebreaker. So it's absolutely a must-win game.
Time for us to introduce the third member of our G3 set. As always, Jenny Ritchie. Hello.
Hi, how you guys doing? Other than sad because we lost.
Very, very sad.
Keith just looked mopey when I came in today,
I
so
was
I just want to make sure he's okay.
Mopey house cat of a host.
So for our Title Town topics, we're going to keep it light as usual. We're going to get to know the players on a more personal level. We know enough of them on the field. We're going to talk about Halloween because that, just happened a little while ago, and there's always fun, exciting things happening. I'm still on a candy buzz.
They were very scary on Sunday.
We're going to talk about a Packer romantic comedy in the making, and then we're also going to talk about the absolutely insane offense during the Giants-Saints game.
That is a good topic of conversation. We had Chewbacca here for Halloween. What'd you go as?
I did not go anywhere.
What? You just got the candy.
I was more interested in how much candy I could hoard for myself. That's really what I was up for.
That's good. And I have kids, so they help me out there. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, our special guest, Mike Pennel, coming up after this break.
Brought to you in part by Hermanning Financial Group.
Hermanning Financial Group strives to help you and your family reach your financial goals while demonstrating their core values of integrity, independence, and innovation. With offices in Wausau, Stevens Point, Manitowoc, and Wisconsin Rapids, proudly supports Junior Achievement, North Central District.
Junior Achievement gives young people the skills they need to own their economic success. Our volunteers help students with financial literacy, work readiness, and entrepreneurship.
And it's really helping me understand how it's going to be in the future.
Do you like to walk?
Do you want to live longer?
You will love square dancing.
Friends you meet for life.
Marvelous people.
I guess I meet people.
I love it.
Love it.
I love Square dancing.
The fun, the family.
Great variety of music.
The camaraderie.
Too young.
It's fun.
Try it, you'll like it.
Call 715-544-7969. Visit WisconsinSquareDancing.com for more information. First lesson free, singles and couples welcome.
When disaster strikes, water, fire, storm damage, and even mold, we take care of them all. Anytime, day or night, 24 hours, 7 days a week. Quality service and customer satisfaction are top priorities. Tell your insurance company you prefer North Star Cleaning and Restoration.
And remember, don't just get it clean, get it North Star clean.
NorthStarCleaning.net. Welcome back to Green and Gold Gridiron. I'm Brian Graff alongside Keith Rodink, and it's time now to introduce our special guest who made the Packers as an undrafted defensive lineman 1 year ago, and he's played a lot, a big contributor on the Packers squad this year. It is our pleasure to introduce Mike Pennel. Mike, thanks so much for being with us this week.
Hey, Mike.
Thank you guys for having me.
You're welcome. Definitely great to have you. For you playing in Denver the other day, a little bit of a homecoming for you. You played your college ball, finished out at Colorado State Pueblo. Did you have some family and friends over there in attendance at the game?
Of course, you know, everybody from there were real big supporters of me coming back into town. So it made it a real good night. Got to see a lot of old friends and family. It was really cool to come back home.
Just didn't quite work out with the result you wanted, obviously, playing in front of all those friends and family.
Yeah, you know, that was a little bit rough. It didn't turn out the way we wanted to, but we'll be all right.
Now, you know, anytime there's a loss like that, you get a lot of armchair quarterbacks. Everybody's got ideas and suggestions for fixing the team. But, you know, when you're in the locker room and you're just talking to, you know, Mike and BJ and LaTroy and all those guys, what kind of things do you guys say to each other? I mean, you have a rough game, like you said. You can't get to Peyton. You know, you're not able to get the running game locked down the way you would like. So what do you guys kind of say amongst each other, you know, that you want to carry over into the next game?
Will can control what we can't control, and we know that our performance wasn't up to our standards. So this week we're taking extra time in practice for whatever we need to, extra time in the film room, and just really getting back down to our fundamentals and playing football.
Peyton Manning's been playing football for a long time. I'd imagine you watched him not only growing up, but you've seen him on film and obviously in preparation for that game. Why is it so difficult to get to him? Obviously, that has to do with offensive line as well, but he has that quick release. What kind of things are you still seeing out of him?
I mean, he's still a Hall of Fame quarterback, and he can bring that out at any time. You know, he had good protection, good play action for the game, and they were just playing a little bit faster than us on that night, and it was their night.
Now, Mike, the game against the Broncos aside, I mean, you guys have had tremendous success so far this season. You personally have had a lot of success. You got your first start at Chicago. You're getting a lot more snaps on the defensive line. What's that year one to year two jump been like? Obviously, with Dayton and LaTroy being out, you got a lot more time. But I mean, those snaps are earned too. You've come a long way from a really breakout rookie campaign.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's just a better understanding of the game, you know, getting more comfortable in Don Capers' system, you know, earning the trust of the coaches and, you know, putting it all together. You know, this past offseason, I worked a lot on conditioning and my technique and everything. And I'm just taking the steps necessary to have success on the field, and I'm only trying to go up from here.
And obviously to have this opportunity, I mean, you did not want to let it go to waste at all. You've really done the studying. You're a powerful man. B.J. Raji calls you nimble. So you have the tools for the package that really coaches are looking for. How have you been able to put that all together and been able to perform for the coaches and put some things on film so they could trust you to be out there on that football field?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that I'm up to my own standards yet, but, you know, listening to my coaches and everything, you know, he's a big technician. He works on the little things in film, coverages, you know, the scheme and all that tendency. So just you know, working hard every day and putting it on the field, and they're just going to put the trust in me. And we have a great locker room, and the coaches have a lot of trust. So it works out.
Now, Mike, you didn't really take the traditional road to the NFL or to Green Bay. You start off at Scottsdale Community College. You get a chance at Arizona State. That doesn't work out the way you hoped it would. And then you end up at Colorado State Pueblo. I guess, what do you learn about yourself through that journey? What do you get out of maybe taking that road less traveled and having to work hard and not getting drafted and getting the success that you've been able to achieve?
Just kept having faith in myself. You know, there was a lot of speed bumps on my road, but I'm glad I got to my destination. Now I just have to maximize the blessing that's been handed to me. So every step, I took little lessons from it and what I needed to do, what I didn't need to do. And I'm just glad it turned out to where I can play for the Green Bay Packers.
Now, Mike, for as tough as the journey was for you to get to the NFL, I mean, that's really kind of nothing compared to what you went through as a kid. I mean, you were 2 or 3 when you were diagnosed with cancer.
Yeah, it was a tough road early. I went through chemotherapy, a lot of turmoil through my family and everything. But my mother, she stayed strong. She always told me, keep my head up, always kept me positive, kept me from getting down in that situation. So I'm glad that I'm here. It was a blessing in disguise. So just got to maximize the blessing.
How much do you remember of that? You were at a pretty young age, but I'd imagine there are some things. I mean, obviously you go out, I think when you were officially, they said you were in remission. It was 10 years later, so you have to have some vivid memories of that from your childhood.
Just going through the chemotherapy, didn't really know too much of what was going on, just knowing I had to be at the doctor's office a lot and everything like that. And my mom would always put on a movie when I was going through the treatment, and I knew once the movie was over, it was time to go.
Now, I know you grew up, it was just you and your mom growing up, and I mean, she was really a rock for you. I have to think, as a parent myself, that was probably much harder on her, even than you, just because you were so young and you don't remember the stress. But what's your relationship with your mom now? Is she always the one you're calling right after the games? You guys still talking all the time?
Yes, of course. She's my biggest critic. So she grades me tougher than Turbo almost on every game. So every time I'm talking with her, it's a good time. She shows up to every game, so she's my biggest supporter, and I just like the fact that I can make her proud on Sundays.
And when you go through what you did, I think you find it really is human nature that you have compassion for other people and you want to turn around and give back. In the position that you're in, playing for the Green Bay Packers, have you found ways to make that a positive and turn around and kind of be a role model for other young people?
Yes. Actually, through my agency and everything, we worked with a couple foundations. And, the crazy thing is going through my situation and the type of person I am, I wouldn't expect to be someone's role model. But, I get a lot of people who write me on Facebook, about children that have a similar situation. And actually, when I was down at CSU Pueblo, there's a child by the name of Colton that has the same exact cancer that I did. So I got to spend time with his family and, talk about their foundation and give them my blessings and everything like that. I just think now that it's a blessing that I can help, the kids that are in that situation and give them something to look up to. But what they give me back, I mean, words can't describe.
Packers defensive lineman Mike Pennel is our guest this week on Green and Gold Gridiron. Our thanks to Mayfield Sports for helping us set this up, and he's joining us via Skype. We're going to take a break. When we come back, much more to come with Mike Pennel and Jenny Ritchie with our Titletown topics.
Looking for a high-impact way for your business to stand out from the rest? Flipside Graphics specializes in vehicle wraps, vinyl graphics, and much more. Cutting-edge graphics with professional results is what we stand for. Have a large fleet that needs to be flipped or shirts to be embroidered? Our design team will handle every aspect of the project from start to finish. We design it, we wrap it, we flip it. Call Flipside Graphics today and stand out from the competition.
When disaster strikes, water, fire, storm damage, and even mold. We take care of them all. Anytime, day or night, 24 hours, 7 days a week. Quality service and customer satisfaction are top priorities. Tell your insurance company you prefer North Star Cleaning and Restoration.
And remember, don't just get it clean, get it North Star clean.
NorthStarCleaning.net.
Hermiting Financial Group strives to help you and your family reach your financial goals while demonstrating their core values of integrity, independence, and innovation. With offices in Wausau, Stevens Point, Manitowoc, and Wisconsin Rapids, proudly supports Junior Achievement, North Central District.
Junior Achievement gives young people the skills they need to own their economic success. Our volunteers help students with financial literacy, work readiness, and entrepreneurship.
And it's really helping me understand how it's going to be in the future.
Welcome back to Green and Gold Gridiron with our special guest, Packers defensive lineman Mike Pennel. Jenny Ritchie joining us now for our Titletown Topics.
Hello, yeah, we're going to lighten it up a bit. We had some deep conversations happening here, but I'm here to lighten it up. So we have a question from one of our fans, one of our younger fans. Halloween was just last week. Lots of fun and exciting times, kids getting to dress up like their heroes. So did you have a favorite Halloween costume when you were a kid, like superhero or something really cool?
I did. The Ninja Turtle Michelangelo.
Very nice, very nice. Did you go with friends or were you just like a lone Ninja Turtle, like just the only one?
I was a lone Ninja Turtle, you know.
You get all the pizza then.
There you go. You don't have to share. All right.
Yeah.
So that was a question. We get some of those from our fans out there. So topic number 2. So I don't know if you're aware, but they are filming a Packer movie. So the Packers have been getting a lot of attention in Hollywood lately. It's a romantic comedy because nothing says romantic comedy like Lambo in winter. So did they have some sort of audition process? If they asked you to be in the movie, would you like jump at that opportunity, or are you more of a behind the scenes kind of guy?
I didn't even know about this until you just brought it up. I would love to be in that movie.
There you go.
I would love to audition for it. Why not?
I'll see who I can call for you.
Well, the movie, we could give him some background. Who's in the movie?
TJ Lang is going to be in the movie, so you should talk to him, see how he got that gig.
John Kuhn?
John Kuhn as well.
They're holding out on you.
Gotta talk to him.
With that, though, I mean, have you seen, I've been waiting all season to bring up this movie on camera. Did you watch Pitch Perfect 2 with Clay and your other teammates?
I did.
You did?
I did.
How do you think they did? Do you think they did okay?
They did awesome. They did awesome. It was good to see those guys in there having a good time. It was real funny.
Do they break out those moves in the locker room? Because that could be fun.
No, I think that's just an on-camera thing for them.
The defensive linemen never get asked to be in movies.
Yeah. So there you go.
Something needs to change.
Yes.
I've been talking about this movie for the entire season, and Keith rolls his eyes every time. And today I walked in and I said, I'm talking about it today.
I will see it. I should have saw it during the bye week.
All right, so topic 3. So, the theme of the Giants-Saints game I felt like it was just offense was the theme of the game. They had 101 points combined between the two teams. They had over 1,000 yards. Like, as a defensive player, is that just an outrageous number for you?
I mean, that is outrageous, but that's insane offensive performance. I think Drew Brees threw 7 touchdowns? It's crazy.
Yeah, it's the 101 point score tied for 3rd in NFL history. So it's just crazy.
Wow.
And yet they still needed a field goal to win.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also what makes it crazy, that the margin of victory wasn't too big. But they're both great teams. I don't know. It's going to be some rough meetings for the defense.
We could have called up Mr. Breeze and see if he would have shared some yards with Aaron Rodgers the other day.
If you would have told me that Peyton Manning and Aaron Rodgers would not throw any touchdowns, and Drew Brees and Eli Manning would combine for 13, I would have told you were crazy.
Who would have thought? That's going to do it for our Titletown Topics. Mike Pennel, thanks so much for joining us, and have a great bounce-back game against those Carolina Panthers.
Thank you guys for having me. It was fun. Thank you.
We appreciate it. And again, our thanks to Mayfield Sports Marketing. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we will have your NFL Pick'ems and Keats Keys after this.
When disaster strikes, water, fire, storm damage, and even mold, we take care of them all. Anytime, day or night, 24 hours, 7 days a week. Quality service and customer satisfaction are top priorities. Tell your insurance company you prefer North Star Cleaning and Restoration.
And remember, don't just get it clean, get it North Star clean.
NorthstarCleaning.net.
Hermiting Financial Group strives to help you and your family reach your financial goals while demonstrating their core values of integrity, independence, and innovation. With offices in Wausau, Stevens Point, Manitowoc, and Wisconsin Rapids, proudly supports Junior Achievement North Central District.
Junior Achievement gives young people the skills they need to own their economic success. Our volunteers help students with financial literacy, work readiness, and entrepreneurship.
And it's really helping me understand how it's going to be in the future.
Do you like to walk?
Do you want to live longer?
You will love square dancing.
Friends you meet for life.
Marvelous people.
Like I said, meet people.
I love it.
Love it.
I love square dancing.
The fun, the family.
Great variety of music.
The camaraderie.
Too young?
It's fun.
Try it, you'll like it.
Call 715-544-7969. Visit WisconsinSquareDancing.com for more information. First lesson free, singles and couples welcome.
Welcome back to our final segment of Green and Gold Gridiron. The Packers and the Panthers, arguably the two best teams in the NFC. Keith, break it down. Give us some keys that the Packers should follow in this game. Unlike last week.
I've got some keys. I have keys every week. Sometimes they're good.
Sometimes they don't open the lock.
Sometimes they do not open the lock. You got to stop the run. I mean, certainly they try and do that every week. You got to stop the run. The difference now is you're going up against the #1 rushing offense in the entire league. Now you've got Jonathan Stewart. He's nothing to be scared of by himself. I think he's 13th or tied for 13th. He's got 500-some yards. But then you also have Cam Newton. And Cam Newton is, I think he's about 20 yards behind Russell Wilson, is the leading rushing quarterback in the league. So he's got just under 300 yards. So you put that together, you're looking at 800 yards of rushing that you have to stop. And the other thing with Cam Newton, 40% of the time when he rushes, he gets a first down. So they got to find a way to stop that. They got to get back to fundamentals like Mike Pennel was talking about. That's key #1.
If you stop them from running and he tries to throw, he's got Ted Ginn Jr., who dropped some balls the other night. What do they have for a passing attack?
Well, the guy you have to worry about is Greg Olsen. Greg Olsen, the wily tight end, the former Bear, he's actually their leading receiver. I'll tell you what else. He's got 10 catches that are 20 yards or more. So it's not just stopping Greg Olsen, it's keeping him in front of you. They can't let Greg Olsen get behind him.
How about another Keith's key?
I have another key. Let's talk about Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers needs to play like the MVP. Aaron Rodgers needs to take chances. We all know Aaron Rodgers hates to throw the interceptions. He hates it. Very much the anti-Brett Favre in that regard. But I'll tell you what, he could do well taking a page out of Brett Favre's book and trying to throw some of his receivers open and taking some chances because he had guys open. You know what? A deep interception is the same as a punt. So you got to take some chances. You got to throw some guys open. They're not at full strength on offense, but you know, a guy of Aaron Rodgers' caliber, a guy that's maybe one of the best quarterbacks of his generation, can't finish a game with 77 yards. I don't care how well guys are covered. I don't care if you're playing the #1 defense or not.
Those are Keith's keys. Time now to welcome back in Jenny for our NFL pick'ems and a quick look at the updated standings. I have 27, followed by Keith's 25 and Jenny's 19 correct. Now, as we go into
we're separating.
I know, I'm so sad.
Yes. The Packers and the Vikings game are the only two in the NFL this weekend where both teams are above 500, so it makes it kind of interesting for our locks this week.
Yes.
Who should go first?
I think you
They're
should.
both looking at me. First game, Rams 4-3 at the Vikings 5-2. I hate to do it, but I will take the Vikings.
Good. I am taking the Rams. I like their defense. I think the Vikings got a little bit lucky, and I need to pick up a game on you.
I also hate to do this, but I'm taking the Vikings for many reasons. But none of which that I like because I don't like picking the Vikings, but I'm going to do it because I'm so far behind that my score makes me really sad.
There's a long season. Many weeks ago, Bears are 2-5. The Chargers are 2-6. I'm going to go San Diego.
Keenan Allen is out for the year. Lost with that kidney injury. if you had them on your fantasy football team, like maybe I did, you're pretty sad about it. I'm still going to go Chargers. They've got Stevie Johnson. They've got Malcolm Floyd. They've got Phillip Rivers. So
I'm going Chargers for most of the same reasons as that. I think that if they're at home, you know, both of the teams don't have the best of records. I think that being at home is gonna help push them to that win.
Okay, and that moves us into the Packers and the Panthers, the one we've been talking about throughout the half hour, and I'm giving them a chance to catch up to. No, I'm not. I'll go Packers.
You gave us such hope when you yanked it away.
If I took them last week against the Broncos,
really
I have to take them this week against the Panthers.
I have to take them because I am a loyal person and I'm a Packer fan.
Very loyal. And for our picks, I'm going to go with the Giants over the Buccaneers and the Steelers at home against the Raiders.
Good picks.
Your
Good picks. I'm going the Enfuego Saints at home against the Titans, who just fired their coach. I'm also going Atlanta at home Atlanta on the road against San Francisco, and the highly feared Blaine Gabbert at quarterback with Colin Kaepernick on the bench.
That's true. I'm taking the Broncos over the Colts. Colts, they had a great win, but I don't see that happening again. If it does, I will bite my tongue, but I really don't think that's going to happen again. I'm also going to take the Jets over the Jaguars. Jets home field advantage. I think they're just going to pull this one out.
All right, those are our locks. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Our thanks to Mayfield Sports and especially our special guest, Mike Pennel. Have a great week, everyone.